Hello, everyone. Good to see you all again after my 2 sessions in solitude and mourning for being sick. I appreciate the kind words that came. Got a couple emails from you all wishing me fast recovery, which I appreciate. There's also some pretty good memes that got sent my way, which I did enjoy thoroughly about recovering. So thank you. But as always, I want to say welcome back to BrightInvestor Office Hours, back at it into the new year and healthy. For those who have not been here before, it's the time to answer questions about BrightInvestor, deal analysis, market research, get some camaraderie going together and see how we can help each other out. And we'll make sure that I give you guys some updates on the product as well as in addition to information on upcoming uh, versions and releases. So before we get into tonight's conversation, I will go ahead and announce we have going on for the product. So as of right now, we are planning a new release for, I believe, this weekend again. You guys are probably getting sick of me releasing new versions all the time and continuing to improve it. Dolores, your request about being able to search by parcel number, I'm not sure if that's going to make it on this request, but we are working on it to be able to do that. A couple different things that we've added on here. The ability to filter by individual owned properties. So those who are looking to only find properties that are owned by people and no LLCs, that filter is coming out. We've introduced some sizing elements. So for all of you who have different size computers, you can now basically BrightInvestor will work on all your different computers on all the different ways. So it's a lot easier to make sure it all fits correctly. We have, let's see here, added some year built minimum and maximum filters to filter by certain vintage of properties. Added a legend to the crime sidebar, so it's easier to tell what crime is which. We had a bunch of front end visual edits to the product. We have officially finished the ability for our crowdsourced crime data. If you guys don't recall this one, this was the functionality where if the official police report is not been filed yet, but someone is called in a crime, adding that data into BrightInvestor. So we should see more coverage in more places. We have also added in the ability to edit some more components on the actual reports themselves. And also we are adding a couple more photos to the front end, some font issues, some UI components, and and then about another 20 or so minor bug fixes as well. But that's coming out this weekend. Things that are upcoming are some final touches on the calculators, the ability to add tags to property reports. So we're working on this section where you guys create a report and you want to find it faster, you can create a tag and say like this deal or this project. So you can filter by certain property reports. Dolores's parcel lookup. Other big one, the ability to save preferences in your guys' calculators. So the ability to say for all time, I want the vacancy to be 0 or 2%, or I want this to be this figure. Working on the ability to have default values that you can set. So every time the calculator has exactly what you want. Let's see here. Adding in the ability to add your own sales comps if you have one. Adding in a line measuring tool. So you can just like say, oh, how far away is this from this direction? A couple pieces of the pie that are coming up, as well as we are redoing all of the videos inside of BrightInvestor to reflect the new versions that have been coming out. So you'll get basically updated demos, updated videos, and updated tutorials on everything, leveraging the new functionality and new front end. But that's all the fun stuff that I have announcements there. Let's see here. We have a couple webinars coming up relatively soon. You should see some emails about them on some top markets and some identifying some gentrification in different areas. We'll have some content going on about that. And without further ado, that's my 5 minute rant on what's coming up, what you guys can expect. And I'd love to open the floor open for questions and comments. And Sarah, you and I are going to talk after this. Office hours, we'll be talking about your deal. I've not forgotten. I've just got some. We have had some more meetings, but we're gonna make it happen. But I want to go ahead and open the floor open for questions, comments, concerns, and howdy do's.
Well, glad you're feeling better.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It was not fun. Having to bow out of 2 office hours was not the plan. But
I
as Sarah can attest to one of our some of our diamond calls, could not really speak oftentimes.
I was kind of surprised. Like I honestly expected it should just be one of those fake sick breaks, and then I like spoke to you, and you sounded atrocious. No offense. Like
I
I was
was
like, oh, this is real. This is some real stuff going on right now.
yeah, no, this was no feint. I was trying to talk to you through a foreclosure auction and like coughing up a lung at the same time. I'm at about 90% right now, so I'm pretty much over it. Just a couple key pieces there left over, but um, one of those reminders to take care of yourself.
I do actually have a quick question.
So,
So I think one of the things, and I kind of had passed this along to Drew, was that it would be really cool to be able to put like a build year in the deal finder section. Just
yes,
because like yeah, so I think the couple things were like build year and then like a max square footage and a max bedroom. Because I think right now it just has the minimums. So that would be super
yes.
helpful.
We actually we actually just we're adding in this push year built min and max filter. That's in there directly because of you. If you guys talk to Drew or me, we just pop things into our developers window and then they just go and they build it. So that's coming out specifically for you. The build square foot one is also coming out. I see that is currently slated for not this release, but probably 2 releases from now. I see that in here as well. That's on its way. So happy to. Oh, go ahead, Dolores.
just have a question. So if we can't find it via the address, I know you're working on the APN. Is
Mhm.
is there also a way to search if it is on MLS by just the MLS number?
I know we've looked into this before to be able to see if we have MLF numbers, being able to filter by something like that. I can dive into the background and see what we can do. Because right now, when it comes to properties, what we do is we take addresses and convert them into latitude and longitude to be able to find them nationwide. And there might be a way for us to get MLS numbers on there, pending that the information has had this 24-hour load up into BrightInvestor to be able to search by that as well. Let me go ahead and add that onto the APN task and see if we can do that as well. So right now, what I'd like to be able to do as well is other platforms when you zoom in sometimes on the map, the button, the
Mhm.
property pin will just show up and you just click on it. I'd like to do something like that too. So if you're natively searching or organically searching for property, you can just see that information there. So I'm working on something like that right now. We're testing a couple different zoom in, zoom out capabilities. So let me get back to you on that and see what makes sense there because it might be possible.
That'd be great. I know that sometimes we oftentimes have like land, right, or vacant land or lots that don't have a true address. And
Mm-hmm.
if we have the MLS or the APN, then it's just easier for us to navigate directly to that one instead of like maybe there's four,
Right,
lots on the same street, but they don't have an address number yet, right? Because they're
right.
just lots. So that would definitely be very beneficial for that.
Okay, great. Yeah, there's
Thank you.
some. Yeah, absolutely. We'll be diving into it, seeing what we can do on that. Like that would be for especially for those of you who are doing developments or ground up flips or any raw land work as well. That's going to be pretty massive. So absolutely can work on that for you and see what we can make happen. How is your project going? By the way.
So I went and took a contractor out there this past weekend, and I'm just running some final numbers to make my offer. And so I let her know that I'll be making my offer by Friday.
Great.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that one.
For
Looking
those
forward
of
to
us
seeing that.
For those of us that are new, uh, Dolores, where is your project? Where is everybody located?
So this particular project is in Hawaii.
Oh,
I have other projects in Kansas and Texas, but this one in particular is in Hawaii.
and where's your home base?
I live in Hawaii.
Oh, wow. Beautiful.
Mhm.
Yeah. Richard, she's got a lot. Oh, it's a house with two more parcels in the back, where essentially she's looking at doing a renovation of the front property, splitting the two back properties, and building two new houses on there, and doing a combination flip, burr, wholesale potentially on one property. It's pretty cool. Uh, so we've been talking about that last couple sessions here as we've walked through the numbers and what the best exit strategy has been.
Yeah, and when I went out to the when I was talking with the realtor that showed me the property, there's actually an open permit to build a new home on one of the back lots that was already approved. And so
Oh,
because the permits follow the land, if I buy it, then I also will already have pre-permitted plans that I just will basically plug and play a contractor into. So I just
oh,
found that out, and that's what I'm having to refactor into my plan. So I'm excited about at least one of the vacant lands. We'd be able to get started on that project right away because the permits are already approved.
wow. I know that was a huge component from the timeline expectation on getting the whole process done. So having that done already for one of the lots, that's a big win for making this deal even lower risk. That's great.
Exactly. This is such a great find. And I went in and I dug in and I was like, are you sure this is? And I called DPP and sure enough, they're like, yes, it'll follow the property. I'm like, oh, thank goodness.
That's fantastic. Congratulations on that one. And then, Rich, I know we got Sarah out in the East Coast, and but she's investing in Missouri right now, Joplin. And we got a lot of other folks all over the U.S. Actually, we got Wagner. Eric Wagner is also up over there in the East Coast, looking at a lot of markets in the New England area and putting together
How
reports for
are
his
you?
investors. How you doing?
Good, good.
Good to see you again.
Likewise, traveling about, so sorry I'm on the road.
No problem at all. It's a busy life. Don't worry about it. All righty here. And so, Rich, what do you got going on? What products are in the pipeline for you? How can I help?
I'm on Long Island, and I saw you on Carl Chavon's, and
Yeah.
another time
Mhm.
I saw you the time before. We just went into contract on a sale, and we purchased the next day as well. I had a wholesaler bring it to me. I'm a Home Vesta franchisee.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
So,
Absolutely.
Long Island's a little tough right now, Everything is gold. Even in neighborhoods you don't want to be in. It's amazing. You know.
Richard, where in Long Island are you? Because I
East,
live in Holbrook.
I'm in East Meadow.
Oh, all
Yeah. I just
right.
Rich, you do a lot of business over there. You do quite a lot of inventory. Oh, is the internet cut out?
I think he
Let me
cut
just
out. Yeah.
yeah. Talking to Rich before, if I'm not mistaken, he had a oh geez, he comes back on. I'll have to confirm this. I want to say he did a wholesale.
we
There we
got
go.
frozen there. We got frozen for a minute.
Perfect. Rich, when you and I talked on Carl's Shimon's webinar, weren't you like just finishing up a flip or a wholesale for like a
Yeah.
$500,000 profit? Was that you?
No, no, no. I wish. Jesus Christ. From your lips to God's mouth. No, we're just finishing up one now. We just finished at 18 Second Street around Conklin, if you want to take a look at it. Um, we bought
Okay.
that one for 335. Somebody who brought it to me was supposed to partner with me, but then that wasn't going to work out, so I gave them a finder's fee, and we put 140 in, and we just sold it for a six. Was it six five 642? I think. So I get probably about an $89,000 profit, which is
There you go.
about, yeah, 84, 85, something like that. When
Are
all the
you
numbers come through. It depends when you close, because I just made a payment today on that thing, so it ups my carrying costs. You
Right.
know,
do
and then I'm
you do you know
waiting.
some good contractors out here, Rich? Because I I mean, I'm looking in Missouri right now because Long Island's just insane, but
Yeah.
I may be looking to do like kind of an occupied burr kind of situation in with maybe like an auction property or something. So I might be in the market for some good contractors out here, but
I, I mean, I've always had two guys working for me.
mm,
Um, I'm going to use a contractor for the first time, who my friend uses, a couple of friends of mine use. Uh, I would be careful with buying an occupied property because it may take you, especially if they don't pay, it could take you 6, 9 months to get them out.
yeah, I'm thinking how I would approach it is I would try to get something that's listed on like as being foreclosed, but try to get it off market and
Right.
broker some kind of a deal with the owner because I wouldn't want to buy it on auction and just be responsible for eviction. It would have to
Yeah.
be like a mutual agreement. So that's
Right.
kind of what I'm thinking.
All right.
'Cause it takes, what does it take? Like a year plus to get
Uh,
someone out? I
you know
mean,
what? We use, I haven't done, I've never had to evict somebody. I don't want to be in that position. But
mhm.
Jim Clark is an attorney over in, what the hell's Jim? Babylon Village, I think it is. So we could always go out offline. My number is up there if you want to take it down, and give me a holler. I can give you that information. You know, I have some stuff. I have a duplex up in Binghamton. I almost bought a student housing up there a couple of years ago. It would have been great, but the guy said he had all these contracts, all the leases, and when I asked for the leases, he didn't have them. So the bank wasn't going to give me a loan, on that.
Mhm.
So, and
Yeah, I'll
then
That's how it
definitely
goes.
I'll definitely reach out to you on the side and connect. It's also
yeah,
just nice to meet an investor nearby. I feel like
yeah.
I know no don't know many people in New York who do business real estate on Long Island.
But
It's
you,
a
you may want
wild.
to jump in with
Yeah.
call Chavon, East Coast RIA. We do a
Mhm.
Zoom once a month.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I can always get you that information. Because Donato was on there, what, about 3 months ago, Donato?
It's about,
Yeah. And I know Tim Galligan jumped on,
yep,
right? He,
yep,
he's can't believe what he's done in St. Louis,
yep.
but got to be careful.
Him
He
and I,
can't move fast.
yeah, Tim contacted me for some market research support when he was choosing where to start his crusade. Tim's an East Coast investor that wants to buy 500 houses and burr all of them. I want to say he's already bought like 15 in St. Louis in like
Yeah, I,
three or
I
four
think I
months.
don't know if
Wow.
he's up to 15 or 20, but he's only got five occupied. So,
Yep,
you got to be
he's on.
careful.
Yeah, he's doing all Section 8. So he's
Yeah,
picking up single families for 30 to 50K, fixing them up, ending up around 110, 120, 130 range, and then doing
yeah,
Section 8 on them. So actually, we were just talking about that yesterday.
yeah.
So
Wow.
very aggressive, but
Very,
that's what he
very
wants to
aggressive.
do.
That's very aggressive.
Yeah, but it's doable.
But
But yeah, he's got a good operation going.
yeah, I haven't done a flip in a while. I've been basically what I did was I bought some. Well, I was down in Naples visiting a friend a couple of years ago. Let me see, what was that? What was that? Oh my boy, back in 21, and they were neighbors of ours, on our block. The kids, grew up together, and they go, "We bought a place." I was like, "What? You've been renting for your entire life? I told you to buy years ago." So they brought us to the townhouse. We looked at it, and I wound up buying one. So we've been renting it since. So the tenant just told me the other day that, he's thinking, if I want to sell it to him, but it's on a 1031. I have no plans on selling it. So if he moves out,
Gotcha.
I will. And then I bought something recently in Fort Myers from the same builder, but it's been vacant for months, brand new construction, because everything's slowed down there. It's like,
Well,
okay, but I have one paying the other, so I'm not reaching into my pocket every month, you know.
it's not a bad place to do it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially right now, you can get some really great concessions either on interest rates or buy downs or price reductions on the newer
yeah,
stuff that's been sitting for a second because they need to get something filled.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I know where I first saw you on Rent to Retirement.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Scott and Adam.
yeah, it's where I first saw you. Yeah, and
Zach.
they
Yep,
have stuff all the time. I haven't pulled the trigger on any of that stuff. I want to get everything I have leased up. You know.
absolutely. Yeah, I did some work with them about a year ago. They were looking to expand into some new markets for some build to rent assets. We collaborated and helped them identify some spots they might want to do and put the plan together. They're good. They're good guys. They're good guys.
Yeah. And I'll probably have a conversation with you offline, because
Yeah,
I'm looking to start to gear it back up again, you
let's
know.
do it.
Yeah.
You have I'll give you have I have your number. I'll give you my number,
Yeah.
of course. And this is public. You guys call me. These are my peoples.
Let me
Should be
write
called.
that,
Give me
let me write that down.
to
563.
talk
What
to me.
are you in the West Coast?
I'm in Missouri. I'm in St. Louis, so
Oh,
it
okay.
is 8:21 p.m. for me, Central Standard Time.
Okay. 'Cause I saw
So in
it said,
Dolores, it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's sunny and beautiful outside, and it's just like, oh my gosh, it's amazing.
yeah, right?
Yeah,
Oh
absolutely.
yeah, Hawaii is even 2 hours behind California.
Yeah.
Damn, I forgot about that
So she's
little
5 hours
nugget.
earlier.
Yeah.
Yep. She's doing fine. She's doing good. That's the nice part of being in Hawaii is by the time like
Oh,
you can by the time it's like 2 o'clock, everyone on the mainland's done for the day, and so you're like you have the rest of the day. It's not too shabby. Um,
Hawaii is gorgeous. I went there, I did a 2 week vacation out there, and it was the only place that I've ever been for 2 weeks that I did not want to leave. Like I didn't want, at the end of my trip, I did not want to go home after 2 weeks. I
Wow.
was like, yeah.
Are you on
Did you
Big
grow up
Island,
there?
Dolores? In which island are you?
I'm on Oahu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are you near, oh God, where did I go? Waikiki? That's kind of like where I
Waikiki's
was.
the south side, so I'm up
Mhm.
on the kind of northeast side, the windward side. I live in Kailua.
Oh, yeah, I went out there when I was there. Isn't that where the Jurassic Park where they filmed that? I went out there when I was there. That was really
Yeah,
cool.
it's a little
Hmm.
bit further up from where I am, but yes, it's the
Hmm.
same direction.
Yeah, very cool.
Where are you,
okay.
Paulina?
I'm in Chicago. But
Nice.
my parents used to have a house in the Big Island. So it's
Okay.
been,
Yeah,
I'm
there's a
there.
lot of properties that I look at on the Big Island. It's definitely a growing area right now.
You
Absolutely.
grew up there?
No, my dad was Navy, so I moved around about every 18 months. I actually lived in Jersey and Virginia for a few years here and there. And then after I graduated high school, I moved out here to Hawaii. I was going to go to Florida State for school, but found Hawaii and I stayed and I loved it. So been here ever since.
Nice.
Yeah, I consider going back for grad school there, but it was a little bit of a just to be next to the beach. Probably not
Absolutely.
the best choice.
Good for some things. Absolutely. I mean, I was just there in October, I think it was, over in Kihei, for
Oh,
Bright
nice.
Investors for project manager, his wedding. Was down
Oh,
in
nice.
Kihei, so it was beautiful. And you realize why so many real estate gurus move there, and then their businesses fall apart because you don't want to work hard when you're Hawaii, except for Dolores, who crushes it.
Yeah,
When, when,
Maui's
when,
beautiful.
yeah, I mean, when you wake up and the birds are singing and the fruit's growing on the trees, you're like, you know what? I've made it. Why grind 16 hours a day? I'm there. And then it takes another breed to succeed with Hawaii surrounding you. So my hat's off to anyone that can do it. Or Paulina when she's over in Europe, buying her new Airbnbs and properties that are just amazing. And geez,
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna pursue this. We talked to someone, they're cutting down the permits for Airbnbs. It's extremely hard to get them.
uh okay,
So they suggested us to look at Marseille, and I I uh, I don't adore Marseille. So
okay.
we're having a talk with my husband. That's his thing, though. But
Gotcha. No, it makes sense. I know Hawaii is very similar. I want to say down in Kihei, there was maybe a 50 permits or something to that tune of all Airbnbs that were allowed, and public zoning gets involved. The local home housing authority gets involved. There's all these signs. I remember sitting outside, walking by a house. There was like a 10-foot tall sign that said, "This property is proposed to be an Airbnb. If you want to protest this, show up at this time and place." And you guys can get it taken down. So there's some serious regulations cracking down on this Airbnb components, and it doesn't surprise me that areas in Europe are doing the same thing.
Yeah. Well, I propose Italy. He's Italian, so I said, why not Italy? But
You know what? My offer still stands. You need someone to test out the first Airbnb. I'll somehow twist my arm, get over there and try it out. So,
yeah, I'm
that's
sure.
just
Sounds
out of the
good.
goodness of my heart. That's what I'm willing to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, perfect. And Jason, how are you doing, my man?
Good, good. How's it going?
I'm doing well. Good to have you here.
Yeah, it's been a while. I haven't been on for a while. I've been super busy.
Not a problem. That's why we're here to help make it easy, help make it doing well. Any projects in the pipeline for you?
Yeah, right now I have a project that's kind of has rolled into a bigger project, bigger than what I really wanted it to, and just because of a bad contractor.
Hmm.
So we got an estimate of the work, and that was for 60,000. But then we got into it a little more. He got um, sidetracked. He was doing way too much at one time. We ended up having to fire him. Then we hired another contractor, a couple other contractors to come in and take a look, and come to find out it's actually going to be double what we originally thought it was going to cost. So we're looking at 135 on the rehab. So
Okay.
yeah, but we're still good because it's a growing area. It's a buy and hold. It's not a flip. The rents are pretty good, and it's in walking distance to the university. It's like 2 blocks away.
Where are you? Where are you, Jason? Where are you doing that?
Well, I'm in California, but the property's in Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to commend you. You got a project going on where your rehab budget can double and you're still going to do okay. My
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
my man, can we just put some respect on your name for that kind of offer?
We
Wow.
we bought in, well, we bought 2 properties at the same time from a wholesaler. We got a real deep cut in it. This one we got for 68, and another one just down the street we got for 44.
Wow.
The
Very
one that
nice.
the single family we just literally just got done with the rehab on that. That's going to be a flip. We're hoping to sell it for about 250, but we can go even lower. We with that one we also uh, the cost we thought we were going to spend about 80,000, end up being well, plus the first contractor and the new contractor that we had to pay altogether, that was 22. So we're still going to come out okay if we sell it at 250, 280, or even 230. We're still good.
That's great.
280 sounds better to me, Jason.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
As
too.
my professional opinion is to sell for 280 if
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah,
That's why they pay me the big bucks.
yeah. Well, so when I look at a project, I like the best, middle, and then the lowest, and then I kind
Of
of like
course.
give myself a even more, a little bit lower than that, and we'll still be good even though things kind of turned upside down.
Sure.
Um, and our holding cost is going to be a lot longer because, like right now, it's kind of hard to sell in Cleveland because of the weather. So we're going to put it on the market at the end of next month, right around when things start turning
There we
around.
go. And what's the average days on market for that zip code?
About 40 to 60.
Okay. About
Yeah.
40, 60. Okay. So you bought it for 68, 80K in rehab costs plus 22 in contractor fees. Private money at what? 9%? 2 points?
8.
10 and 2? Eight,
We got
eight and
an
two
8.
points
Yeah.
with a 6 month
No
holding period?
points. No points.
No
No.
points. That's great.
No. Yeah. So we
Okay.
got an 8%. So we're um, so basically just the rehab on the duplex is going to be altogether about 135K.
Okay.
It's going to be a 2 bedroom, 1 bath on the bottom, and a 3 bedroom, 1.5 upstairs. We're adding a
Okay.
half bath. What's great about it is that we can do the downstairs. We can do a midterm rental if we wanted
Nice.
to. We're debating whether or not we're going to do that. And then the upstairs, we're just going to have it probably as a long term.
Okay. And that's going to be a flip? No, that's going to be a burr, you said. It's a burr.
Yeah, that one's a burr. The other one, which is a single family, that's a flip.
Okay. And so what's your ARV in that duplex?
About 300, but between 250 to 300. There's a house literally on the other side of the block that just sold for 366. It's a little,
Okay, so yeah.
yeah, it's a little bit bigger than ours. I can't remember how big it is. I'd have to go look, but it sold for 366.
Okay.
So ours,
But you're all in, yeah.
yeah,
But your
ours is
all in
about,
costs, yeah, should
yeah.
be low 200s. And then you can get 80% cash out refi on that thing. You might even come out ahead on the refinance potentially on the ARV.
So I don't mind leaving money in because I want to cash flow a little more. That's the
Sure.
plan. Ideally, between $200 to $300 a door, net.
Right.
Ideally. So it just really depends. So yeah, we're just trying to work with it and see. We're probably not going to pull the trigger on that until probably March.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Well, it sounds like a pretty cool projects. I want to see some photos if you don't mind. If you have the ability to show photos either this time or next time you're open to it. Love to see
Yeah,
some before.
I could share. I don't have it. I mean, my screen saving
Oh, you're
is
fine.
off. I mean, I do have it on my Instagram if you want to go there. It's on
Sure,
there.
yeah. Well, I mean, like next time on Saturday, if you'll be here, I mean, I'd love to show the project. I mean, part of the benefit of this office hour, right, is not just talking about, BrightInvestor or functionality or features, but also to see people who are actually doing projects, what they're doing, what they're working on, what they're seeing in the marketplace, and how they're adapting. So, I mean, if you've got two active projects, same goes for Dolores and Rich and everyone else. I'd love to see them. I think it's really beneficial information on just to come together and see how people are overcoming different obstacles and making those decisions and kind of serving as a group think when it comes to what kind of midterm rental, long-term rental, sell or hold, burr or flip. I'd love to see it.
Great.
I got a question. Everybody seems to be not in their own market where they live, right? How do you wind up managing that from a distance?
So I have a property manager. I have a contractor, and then I have a project manager. We hired on a project manager, which I wish I hired him a long time ago. He's well worth the his weight in gold.
Okay.
So
He watches everybody else.
yeah, and the funny thing is, I actually made contact with him through BrightInvestor. Uh,
I want that. I want that in a quote. I want that in a quote. Jason, you email me the second this meeting is over, and I want that written down.
Yeah, I will. I will. So it's funny. Long story short, I was on BrightInvestor. His wife was on here. She also, they live in Cleveland and they invest in Cleveland. So I was talking about Cleveland. We exchanged numbers on BrightInvestor. Got her information, made contact, hit it off. She introduced me to her husband, and her husband is just awesome. He's also an investor and he's a handyman and all that. So he knows the in and outs of what to look for. So we made a connection there, and it's been great. I mean, he's a great guy, very honest, good-hearted person, and finding good people is so hard. When I find good people, I keep them close, and so we made a deal. He offered a price amount, and I told him, no, that's way too low. I'm going to give you more than that. Uh, and so
You
I
spoiled
hired
him.
I hired him on, and we met each other in the middle of like last year or so, and yeah, great guy. And so
Well,
right
have
now
you
he's looking after the property as it's sitting there. He goes by and checks it out once a week, and does a check and make sure everything's okay. So yeah, I highly recommend getting a project manager.
did you fly into Cleveland? Did you see the property? You bought it,
Yeah, well, So I was already out there looking at some other properties of mine, and then while I was out there, I bought those two properties, and then through a wholesaler, and then basically just looked at those properties while I was there, and then we made the acquisition while I was out there.
This makes me so happy. I cannot tell you how happy that makes me that you guys got connected and now you're working together. That
Yeah,
is, man, that is
it,
so cool.
it was
That really
great. I
makes my
mean,
heart happy.
we added he's now going to be, and we had a nice talk, and I said, hey, look, I want you on all my projects out there. So whenever we do a project, he goes out there, gives me his viewpoint. He'll check up on the contractor. He goes and visit the site about once or twice a week, and then just make sure that everything's running smoothly.
Congrats, man. That is
Yeah.
so cool. That is
Uh,
so freaking awesome.
Are labor prices much less expensive there? Because materials are all the same all over the place.
So yes and no. I mean, anywhere in that, that area, Detroit, Indiana, all over Ohio, they're pretty much right around the same, depending on what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they're roughly about the same.
Like what's an electrician charge to put in a panel, 200 amp panel?
So it depends. So about 800 to 1600.
Wow. I just had one 2,500 here, and the other guy's charging 35 to 4,000,
Yeah, it just depends on what you're doing too. Like,
Yeah.
like a whole, like, okay, the quote I got for the whole entire house that I got for the duplex, because it's all knob and tube, everything has to be redone.
You have to rewire the whole house.
It's all rewired everything. Rewire everything is 16,000 for the whole place.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's like everything, everything we got put in there, all the electrical. Yeah.
And
So
are they separated, two separate meters?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Everything's separated except for the water. If we can, I'm gonna try to do the water as well.
But aren't you responsible for the water as the landlord?
Yeah, but if we can get it separated, then we can do that. Or what we'll do is I was just talking to my contractor the other day. There's a device, I can't remember the name of it. You can put on the water line and it'll read the water line. It'll send you the message, hey, how much they're actually using. And then I can charge them as long as it's in the lease, and it will be. I can charge them for that water.
Mm-hmm.
Rubs. Gotta love it. Rubs allocation system.
Yes.
Got it. It's great, great value add. Pro tip, depending on what state you're in, and depending on whether you're residential or commercial, some states have laws against how much you can bill back.
Yeah.
For example, in Texas, on a commercial project, some people try to make a profit. So they'll charge back 110% of the water, and that's actually illegal. In some states, you cannot make money on utility bill back. You can only bill up to a certain percentage. In most cases, we underwrite to about 80% because there's always common access water, things of that nature. But something I've had to learn over time as well. Also, I'm kind of, if you guys are open to it, I might have a present for the folks in here, for my Diamond members in here, and I'll tease it here. I may or may not have my hands on a 40 property portfolio in Minnesota that's open to 100% seller financing. And that portfolio may or may not have single family houses, duplexes, triplexes, quads, all in the one area. And I may or may not be willing to share those properties with the folks that are that are here if folks are interested in looking at markets like that. But
I may or may not be interested.
Yeah, the same.
Good answer. It's a damn good answer. That's what I like to hear. A buddy of mine just is taking the whole portfolio down. He called me and said if I could have my pick of the litter, which is a good call to get. Makes me very happy.
You want to split it up? Is that what they're doing?
Yeah, we could. Yeah, I mean, of course, I'll comb through everything and see what I want first. As of course, I'm going to do that. And then like, I'm not going to lie to you. Obviously, I'm doing that, but I'm looking at these and I will be underwriting every single property in this portfolio as both BRRRRs, flips, wholesales, and a couple other strategies. And for the folks, especially like Sarah, I know we're in Diamond. We'll be talking about this probably as soon as our call for your other property. I was going to tell you, give you a first crack at these as Diamond, but there's some opportunity here where there might make sense to bring some more folks in because it's 40 properties, probably sitting at between $6 and $8 million total, but the guys won't let seller finance these. So
He's
if you're
seller financing
interested,
them, he's seller financing them all.
he's open to it.
Where in
He's thinking
Minnesota?
that's for me to know and for you to find out later.
About
On our
about
call.
150,000 a house.
It's around there. So I'm getting the whole portfolio sent to me, and I'll be reviewing all of it personally and seeing what makes sense. But I know folks here are always looking for projects. I like this guy. He owns other apartment complexes in this area. He owns like a 80 unit 2021 builds Airbnb like boutique hotel kind of situation, and he has this portfolio he's taken down too. So he told me about it, and I was just thinking, if I don't want all these 40 properties, who would? I'm like, well, these people might. So I thought I'd let you guys in on the secret and chit chat with you about it. Sounds like you guys are not saying no. I think I made a good call. So if you're interested, you can drop your email in the chat. If and when those things come along, I'll keep those folks in mind. I will see if any of those make sense for you guys to take a crack at. There, I know your email. We're gonna talk. We're talking like 20 minutes. Yeah, we'll talk about them. Yeah, make it happen. But
I
between like
scheduled something with you on for Saturday.
yes, I saw that come through as well. So we'll chit chat about these as well. I should have a I should begin the portfolio in like 10 or 15 property installments as he closes on them. Like he just closed on the first 8 or 9. So he send those over to me. So we're gonna take a look at them and see if any of them make sense. But I wanted to make sure that if I'm gonna eat, you guys are gonna eat too, and see what makes sense. Because like I'll take 10. I'll take 10. Why not? See what happens. Um, yeah. So I have your emails here. We'll talk. I'll keep you guys in mind.
Thank you.
I don't absolutely.
Do
So I
you have
think
these the same time? You have the same time every week?
yep, every Wednesday at 8 Central. So whatever that is for you locally. And then every
Nine
Saturday
o'clock.
at noon Central, I believe. Every Saturday at noon Central. Yeah, every week, except for when I'm dying in bed. Those weeks I am unavailable. But every other week we're good. Um, yep, it's twice a week. So
Yeah.
we come on and chit chat for a little bit and see what opportunities are around. So what I'll do is you guys won't see any properties from me until I've vetted them and I've taken a look at them to see, hey, are these things decent deals? Anything that's a decent deal, whether I want it or not, I'll pass along and see what makes sense to be able to say, hey, here's the ones that I think make sense at these numbers, and then go from there. And see if there's an opportunity for everyone here to pick one up. Maybe so, maybe more than so. See what makes sense. But I want the multifamily. If there's a 4 unit, I'm taking it. I'm just being straight up. I want that. I'll give you guys a triplexes or the single family houses, but I want the 4 units.
Thanks for sharing, Donato.
Absolutely. I would help. I keep it real. Keep it real. I try to help as much as I can.
Yeah, seller financing I'm finding to be really tough. Um,
How so?
in a lot of the markets that I've been looking, I've constantly asked, whether or not it's available. And in fact, I've gone to several meetups in the last several months, and I've always asked the question in an open forum. Nobody says
Hmm.
it's available. I mean,
Interesting.
it's always amazing to me. If there's something like commingled with commercial, then maybe maybe there was an opportunity there.
Hmm.
I mean, you would think on the surface that intuitively that there should be, right? It's kind of
Hmm.
counterintuitive to think that that's not available, but it's the case. I I had a question. I'm actually looking at a deal that's a probate.
Oh, okay.
Um,
What
and
state?
excuse me,
What state?
New York.
New York. Okay.
Yeah, upstate. And the interesting, I mean, the price is, the numbers don't work right now, right? They're just, it's new on the market. There's actually two properties. It's an acre, but actually has three structures on it, right?
Okay.
And it's zoned both commercial and residential. Um, so
Okay.
so it has the bones of what might work to be something good. I think the highest and best use though is residential. Um, there's a oversized garage. Um, Probably you could put at least four cars in it, right? So just to give you an idea of the footprint, and it's ideal for like a workshop kind of thing, more like an industrial use. Um,
Okay.
so, and then there's two different structures on it. Two homes, right? One, there's a two bedroom, 1.5 bath that can turn into a three bedroom because they have enough space. So there's a value add opportunity there, and two baths, and then there's another structure that is two bedrooms, also can turn into three bedrooms, put in two baths as well. The problem that one of the challenges that I'm facing, and actually I had an exchange with Drew on this, just analyzing the marketplace, looking at comps, and kind of I'm trying to like break the two properties apart, right, to get a
Okay.
better idea of what the comp is.
Okay.
Because if I were to buy it and it was a Burr method, right?
Okay.
Doing improvements. Um, the only way I was able to do or in analyzing it, is just to really break out do it on a per square foot basis, rather
Yep.
than just divide the number
Hmm.
arbitrarily. Because how would I don't know. I'm trying to think as to how an appraiser would approach it,
Hmm.
uh, given the fact that they're not legally separate. It's one property, right?
Yeah,
So it's not divided, it's not subdivided. So I just wondered, if you've come across any of that in the past. Um, again,
absolutely.
just trying to understand what's the best way to approach the ARV, in analyzing it.
For sure. When it comes to appraisers, in all my experience with them, they want to do as little finagling between properties for comps as possible. So they're going to look for as cookie cutter as they can possibly get to make to justify their case. So one property with multiple structures on it is going to be one of the probably the most unique properties in that area, and nothing else is going to have one valuation that makes sense. So right off the bat, I would absolutely recommend subdividing this. Unless this is a part of town where the commercial is for multifamily and it makes sense to put on, say, a sixplex or a 12plex, and that's the demand, like those things like franchises and businesses and income makes sense for that area. Subdividing that property makes the most sense in order to command the highest valuation. Kind of the individual parts are worth more than the whole in this situation, where if we can take is it a what for the houses that are currently on there? You said there's three structures. There's the garage, there's the house, and there's something else. What's the last one?
There's two houses.
Two houses. Okay.
Yeah, let's call it one on the north side, one on the south side,
Okay.
and then this garage is kind of like in between.
Okay. And what's the bedroom and bathroom count for the two houses?
Today or after a renovation?
Post renovation.
Post renovation, you could have a 3-2
Okay.
in both.
Okay. Then that's how we need to be comping this out on the basis of subdividing the property. There may need to be, I don't know if you're currently in the budgeting for driveway expansion. I know Sarah and I just talked about this one of her properties, that kind of similar situation. If you need to pour new concrete to expand the driveway, if they're all going to be subdivided, or if there's other access from nearby roads to be able to pour from. But if
Yeah,
you're going to subdivide,
it would have to be an easement. It's kind of like you,
okay,
you would just create, establish an easement
okay,
that you'd have one driveway going through another property.
okay, perfect. Okay. So then we'll need to comp these two properties out as 3-2s. And the garage in your situation is a tear down and then renovation into another 3-2 or 2-1.
3-2.
So we'd end up with 3-3-2s on this property.
No, 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 no. You'd end up with 2 3-2s, and
Okay.
then you have a garage.
Okay, so we're not touching the garage in this renovation plan.
No, we don't really need to. I mean, and that was the part that I'm kind of contemplating. Do I keep it as a garage? Do I rent it out as a commercial space, like an industrial workshop, a storage facility? I'm just trying to like play that out, or just knock it down and make. I'm again, it's the highest and best use play.
Yeah. What's the address? I'm gonna get analytical up in this Zoom call right now.
2846 Route 32 in Saugerties.
Got it.
Eric,
Okay.
you could also rent out that garage to these guys that are car collectors. They're always looking for garage. I don't know how much they pay up there.
Yeah, yeah. And it would be perfect for something like that.
Yeah.
So there's the structure in the front. It's hard to see the other two structures.
Okay, so
So
this is
that,
this is the current structure. Okay, where are the
yeah,
next two?
right, right. You just stay where you were, pretty much where the hand is right now.
Under the trees.
Yeah.
Gotta get a
Okay.
street
You
view.
could only see it like if you were on the road. And then in the back, yeah, turn around. Exactly.
Oh, there it is.
Stop.
Okay.
Yeah. Just stop right there. Right there.
There you go.
Okay. Go to the right. So that's the garage structure on the right.
Yep.
And if you go a little bit to the right, you'll see the structure in the back.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
No, 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 no.
Interesting.
You
it's
you went
huge.
too far. You went too far.
Oh, it's not the
Oh,
red
too
house.
far.
Yeah. Go to the
I don't know
left.
why this is. I don't know why this is blurry. The one spot I need to stand. Of course,
Yeah, the
Google.
one
Thanks.
spot is
Yeah.
there, right where it's blurry. There's another structure in the back.
Okay.
Pretty
Right.
much, yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
That's interesting. Okay, so there's already a driveway servicing these different spaces. That's interesting. What is it currently operating as? Casablanca.
It
What is
actually,
it?
ironically, it used to be
Oh,
a
estate services.
real estate office.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Now that structure, the one that you're seeing that's closest to the road, needs definitely more work.
Yeah.
It's an old structure, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, um,
Look at that siding. Wow.
yeah,
That
yeah.
is that is crazy.
Yeah, you need a new roof too. It's an old roof.
That is such a unique structure. That's really cool. It's like a slice of history right there. Same with
Hmm.
that garage.
Make it a bed
Okay.
and breakfast.
So from a highest and best use perspective, when we're looking at this property, where is it in relation to
And by the
everything?
way, I spoke to a realtor today, um, that does commercial work, and he told me that I'm better off, you know, not sticking with residential.
Yeah.
We, you know, and maybe breaking it up as you just said, right? Subdividing it.
Yeah. My recommendation here is that if you're going to go for the subdividing route, which I do think will yield the overall highest return on the property itself, you're going to have house one and then house two in the back. But neither of those two tenants or potential say exit buyers from a flip perspective are going to want to live next to this if this is an active working garage when it comes to person who's
Yeah,
working in it doing
I
industrial
agree.
projects.
I
That will
agree.
detract from the property's value 100%. If
Right.
anything, this structure should be subdivided and included with one of the two properties
Yeah.
as a
Yeah.
is including with it. So it will improve the
Right.
value of whatever one it goes with, and the other potentially let's go without any garage structure. But this should
Right.
go, in my opinion, in subdivided in two places, with the first subdivision hosting property A with garage, and then property B on the back of the second subdivision, both of them going 3-2s. That would, I think, make the most
I would
sense.
agree. I would agree. It would, the package would be the house, the two that we're looking at right now is one.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. That makes the most sense. That's
Yeah.
where it's already front center. This does not. I think if you subdivided this by itself, it would never sell as it
Yeah.
currently sits. I think this thing would end up being worthless. But to the right person that wants some storage, this would definitely benefit uh, one of these properties.
Mhm. No doubt.
Let me take a look. See here. You said because you said there's structure
Uh,
A is like
uh,
right here.
Any familiarity with the probate process? Because and
Actually,
by the way, the issue here is that the number, as I said before, the numbers don't work because, and I think part of the reason is that, um, it's just on the market fairly recently. It was on MLS, right? I think I need to let it marinate a little bit
yeah,
before these people realize that the numbers, are not going to work. But if they are in probate, it's got to sell, right?
yeah. You know,
Um,
you if you shoot me an email, those of you who don't know, I was on a TV show last summer. I competed on an entrepreneurship game show. It's coming out in like a month. I'll let you guys know when it's out. You'll see me compete against 100 other entrepreneurs. But Eric, one of the people on there, her business was doing probates in Georgia.
oh,
Her
really?
entire all she did was process thousands of probate records for real estate investors. She knows the probate process backwards and forwards. It's her entire livelihood. I would love to put you in contact with her because she will be able to answer more questions than I will when it comes to probate. And I know she's a certified expert. She works with the lawyers, she works with all the different people involved in the actual process. I'd be happy to connect you to.
But is probate the same in every state?
Not to all the different dotting of I's and crossing of T's. The general process is generally similar, but at the end of the day, there will be some state specific discrepancies. But she should be able to, one, illuminate more about 80% of the prospects. And I guarantee you she will have a contact in this state that you can speak to have even more conversations. But I'd love to put you in contact with her.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. From what I understand, the probate, it goes into probate because there's some ambiguity in terms of who owns the estate, right? It's not crystal
Yeah.
clear.
So probate occurs when there's no living, will and testament or will or living trust or estate when those documents have not been properly created and instilled before whoever owned the property's untimely passing. That property has to go through probate process to ultimately elect and decide who's going to be getting what, and the state gets their chunk of flesh. It can be very long, very drawn out, and often involves multiple months to get through the entire probate process. It's very common for people to try to sell properties pre-probate, so to avoid having to go through the whole thing. Once they're in probate, the fact that they're already there, they're trying to sell the asset. It's obviously further along in the process, but yes, this property does need to sell. It has to be transacted in order to settle the estate of whoever the deceased was. So yes, absolutely, this thing does need to move, and so that's why it can be a really great opportunity for you to make the numbers work.
Yeah.
We just
Yep.
went through a probate. A tenant of mine passed away, and all she had was a brother with no will.
on Long Island.
Hmm.
It took him 11 months to settle this thing. It was insane.
11 months.
And
Yeah.
and
That
who's paying the carrying costs on this? Who would be, I guess,
The
the
estate.
heirs?
generally, it depends on one, is there a mortgage still in the property? Is it free and clear of any debt? Then there's the property taxes.
Yeah.
Usually those type of delinquencies take the place of a lien that is placed on the property that is then taken care of out of the proceeds of the sale of the house.
Yeah, but by the way, I don't. That was actually one of the things I was talking to connected with Drew on. There isn't there according to the system on Bright Investor, there isn't a mortgage.
Okay. So it's free and clear.
I have a call to the county just to double check. Um, but there isn't a mortgage. So I thought initially maybe there's an opportunity to for them to hold the mortgage, right?
Sure.
But I don't think you can do that in a probate.
In a probate, likely not. This is the asset needs to be transacted and liquidated.
It does.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I would not I would not be ambitious about pursuing a seller finance with a probate
Yeah.
lead.
Yeah.
If
Yeah. I'm
if
not.
someone yeah, if okay, if a member of the family in this case were to buy the property but didn't want anything to do with it, you could absolutely negotiate a seller finance with them, saying, "Hey, Mister, relative, if you take this property over and close on it, we can do a double closing, and I'll buy it from you that same day, and we'll do a seller finance situation where you own the property, and I'll just make you monthly payments." That could work, a double close, but you'd have to have a willing party that's willing to make that transaction and want to own it. But that is one case in my
Well,
Chester.
aren't you assuming as there are multiple people that are going to inherit it? It could just be one person that's going to inherit it,
That's true. That's
and
true.
I,
then
It could be
they can
one.
hold the
I think it's
mortgage.
two. I think it's two kids. But you're right. You're right. I don't know that for a fact.
Yeah.
I think it's two kids.
Okay. Two kids, probably parent passed away, like the situation, trying to sell it, get out of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's I mean, that's in the real estate investor's handbook, that's one of the best situations you could be in from a buyer perspective. Folks who are not emotionally attached to the property, folks who are, don't really need to get a ton out of it. They're just looking to get it. You're serving a need in terms of handling the headache of the actual property itself. So,
But what you were just talking about was that they would have to, in the probate, currently they don't have control of the property. The courts that do.
yeah,
And
yep,
so they would have to, um, for a brief period of time, own it and then resell it back to me.
yeah, a double closing on that same day.
Double. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like a
absolutely.
wholesaler.
Yeah, there's things yeah, that could work. It depends on what the structure of the deal is, but that is something where if it made sense and there was value in doing it, right? The value to you in that situation would be that, hey, they're willing to bring some of the cash to the table to uh oh, Chester, thank you. No problem. Had to hop. See you later, man. If they're willing to bring cash to the table, but then you're saying, hey, look, if you can bring X amount of dollars to this property, or you can potentially joint venture the property and say, hey, look, if you guys want to turn this into passive income, I'll own this portion, you own this portion, and I'll
Hmm.
pay you every month. That's possible, but it gets a little messy when it comes to
Yeah,
probate once it's
sure.
already into probate.
Yeah,
But it's possible,
makes
and that's
sense.
why I'll connect you with my colleague there. We
By the
actually
way,
talked. Oh, go ahead.
one question I would have for her is someone actually told me that, given the market being so tough and everything, there are some attorneys have access to probate lists,
Yeah,
which I think is awesome because if you can get
absolutely.
access to that, I don't know that to be a fact. I happen to hear it on on a podcast, but
Yep.
I'm
When I
just trying
was
to
when I
around
was
it.
in Boise State, um, those leads are the best, right? Those are the best leads you can get. But the state knows that real estate investors are ornery little buggers, and so they try to make it hard to get those information. So when I was in college, I went to the local assessors, the county's assessor's office, and manually inside their portals that are only accessible through terminals inside the building, you can search for probate and divorce listings inside the county assessor's office. And I would download a list of those people. And I got a connection with a girl named Mary at the office who had got my name in the email database. So every Tuesday at 7 a.m., and for the past 7 years, I've gotten this email every Tuesday of the last week's people that have filed probates or divorces sent to my inbox. I can then skip trace them.
Oh man, you kidding me? So you went to the county?
Yeah, I went into eight. I went into Ada County's building to get that set up. That took a lot of effort. Even though I'm not in Boise anymore, I still get that list emailed to me every week, and it's a great reminder of where I started.
Wow. Sometimes, yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's worth visiting the county office. It's like Magic Land there
Can
because they
be.
have a ridiculous amount of information.
Yeah, and oftentimes, what the main thing they'll do is they'll restrict it where you cannot access those portals or databases if you're not physically in the building to a closed system. Those they
Mhm.
require you to come in, and so some of the top investors, what they'll also do is they'll hire someone like a broke college kid to go and do that for them in whatever markets they're looking at across the country, and have to get that set up for them. So like, hey, I'll pay once a week. I'll pay you $20. Go to the office and pull a record and email it to me. And I've I was that guy. People would, say, "Hey, can you make this happen?" Sure. So it's absolutely possible to do those types of things.
Well,
Super cool. Man, this might be our best BI office hour session in a while. This was a great call tonight. I really enjoyed this. We swapped stories, talked about contractors and new connections and potential portfolios and probates. Man, this is a great day. I had
good
a really
stuff.
fun time.
Eric, I take it you're in New York?
Yeah, yeah. I live in New Jersey,
Okay.
Bergen County.
Perfect. Well, you guys, we're at the top of the hour, so we'll go ahead and close it up for now. And I'd love to see you guys at our Saturday office hours this weekend. Hopefully, I'll have some information for folks on portfolios and whatnot. But I want to say thank you all so much for being here. I had a really great time. I hope you guys did too. And I love what Bright Investor has become, not just a platform, but a place for people to come, connect, and learn. This is fills my little heart with joy.
Good stuff. Thanks.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Nice to meet
All right,
everybody.
guys.
Thank you.
We'll be
Right.
talking.
Bye.
You got it. Bye.